things online using WordPress.
Oh, we have to talk about using WordPress?
Wait,
I thought it was just telling
I was going to say the quick way?
The quick way. Quick ways to do it. Before we do that, let's talk about ServerPress, makers of desktop server. They make local WordPress development easy. Go check them out over at serverpress.com. They've been doing some fun stuff over there with their WP Site Sync product, which works great with and without.
It's awesome.
Without
There's a little bit of drool on your face, Steve, right here. You got to get that.
It's good stuff, so check them out.
Am I good?
You're good. You're good.
So let's go around the room real quick, get everyone introduced. Mr. Cosper, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, hey, I want to wish everyone a happy 360.
Happy 360!
Oh, he just did a turnaround.
Doing a 360.
Oh,
yeah, hey, this
that guy came to
Cosper,
party.
aka Fat Mullenweg, just here to talk some WordPress, talk some quick ways to sell shit. Let's get into it.
Nice.
Representing the man bun up in here.
Russ, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
Yo, what's up? I'm Russell Aaron. I'm in Las Vegas, and I'm with Steve. I thought we were talking about holding the sign on the side of the freeway that says "buy something." Like, I was gonna sell roses. That was my advice. So I don't think I'm fit here. But hey, everybody, how's it going?
Say, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
My name is Say Reed, and I make WordPress, teach WordPress, preach WordPress at Say Reed Media on all the things. That's all I have to say today.
Did you sing that last part of it? On all the things.
On all the things.
Has her own jingle. That's awesome.
Actually, that verged really closely to the Little Mermaid song.
It did. It did.
I know somebody's been watching some cartoons lately. Steve, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
I'm Steve Zengid. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress meetup.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yada, yada, yada.
I'm Jason Tucker.
You can follow him on jasontucker.us and WPwatercooler. Hey, we're on Patreon, Jason Tucker. Can you tell us about Patreon?
We are on Patreon.
Patreon? Why do I find this stuff out on the air?
Hey, that's why you're the best.
Because it's fun. That's the way you gotta do it. But yeah, we are on Patreon. You can go to our website over at patreon.com/WPwatercooler. I did a fun thing with that. I actually named everything based off of water type of things. So it's
good.
Like small water cup, medium water cup, large water cup. I have a water bottle.
Water-based things as they are sizes of water cups.
Yeah, because it is.
Oh, because it's a water cooler, and our logo has a big jug. So
maybe I'm thinking Dixie cup, Solo cup.
Oh, I didn't want to do that.
No, we don't have the trademark to use Dixie cup and Solo cup.
It's fine. You don't have to ask me for any creative input. It's not like anything I can help with that. It's fine.
But yeah.
It's not like we're a small business with the website that needs help, Wait, I
want to know, what are our rewards? Oh, I'm looking at it. We've got tiers and everything. Do we have
to head over to patreon.com/WPwatercooler?
Say you haven't received your paycheck yet?
No. Also, I'm
sorry, Jason.
Used to make this thing happen, guys. That's how Patreon works.
Steve, did you get direct deposit yet, or are you still cash and paper? I'm waiting for direct deposit over here.
No. Jason pays me under the table.
Oh. I asked for Bitcoin.
I'm just expecting to read these pledges and to see it be say will do X.
Yeah, it says that.
Cool. Was wondering when it would come and what I was gonna have to do for this.
Yeah,
we'll tell you later.
How loyal are you, Say? How loyal are you? How far are you willing to go?
All right, so now that I've sold ourselves, let's talk about selling stuff online for cheap.
What a segue!
I guess you can just sign up for Patreon.
So yeah, let's kind of discuss this. So to give you a little bit of a point of reference, a lot of you folks work intimately with e-commerce solutions, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, large commerce, small commerce, like all of those things. I want to talk about the
commerce.
Yeah, I want to talk about the teeny tiny commerce. I want to talk about I have a T-shirt I want to sell or a hat I want to sell.
I use Sharknado commerce. Do you use Sharknado commerce?
I use Sharknado Ipsum. That's what I do.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have some product that you're trying to sell and you want to sell it. You don't want to build up this whole crazy huge thing. You just need to quickly sell it. What are some solutions that people could do in order to be able to do that?
Should we just rattle this off real quick and then be done and go drink like our coffee? It is peace.
I know a bar in Vegas that can handle a lot of the drinking that you just described, so I'm down.
So I can start us off. So one of them that I've used in the past would be gravity forms. So if you need to sell just like 1 or 2 items, something like that, it gives you a total. You can tie it into PayPal and then be able to sell it. You can do something like that. That would
You can go into
Well,
Stripe. You can go into a merchant ACF. Like they have a lot of add-ons. So whatever it is, how you take money, whether it's a business or you want to set up a PayPal kind of thing, they do have an extension for that.
If you're selling one thing, loading that shit on there is going to be a pricey. You better be selling a lot of that one thing.
And I was going to say, so I think the difference here, what we're talking about is items that don't require a shopping cart, right? That's what we're talking about, right? That's the distinction, right? So if you doesn't require a shopping cart, the solution you're talking about, Jason, is perfect, right? You just need one or 2 things, right? Products, downloads, right? An ebook, something like that.
Technically, that requires a shopping cart. It's just a matter of if you want your client to be able to purchase multiple your customer in this case to be able to purchase multiple things at once.
I mean, I'm using the gravity form thing as we talk. Like I'm doing things where I'm offering my time for a small amount, and I have a gravity form that I send people to, and they're just sending it via PayPal.
A really small amount. I'm offended by your price point.
I'm not even helping. Like I'm not like physically coding. Like I'm just talking about it. It's just helping people get started. And
still too low.
I agree. I saw it as well. It's too low, Russ.
I was like $10.
Raise your prices. Raise your prices.
If anything, now they just dropped by 10%. Hey, thanks for you. Use my coupon code called Zeke at checkout. 10% off.
Yeah, well, if you enter the coupon code Zeke, the price is going up.
I know.
Don't do that.
This is a good example here. So, like for instance, the type of thing we're talking about here probably doesn't have an affiliate link set up tied into this. This is where it's like, I want to go to the website, I want to buy a thing, and I want to have it.
I just didn't want to sign up for Calendarly or anything where I have to use a service to schedule some time. If you just want to get with me, I'm capable to put a form on my website, and you can book it, and we'll go from there.
So what else is there? What other things can people use that would do this?
You could do a donation form, so you could set up like a Give WP. That could be a thing.
So but real quick, you talked about gravity forms. All the form plugins have something like this. WP forms, Ninja forms, right? So your form plugin doesn't matter all that much as long as it's a well.
Does Contact Form 7 do that? I don't think so.
I sure hope not.
I was gonna say maybe your mileage varies.
I was talking about the premium form plugins.
Dubs, there was a security issue with Contact Form 7 over the past couple weeks. Not that
Say
No.
what?
Obviously,
we have a section on this show called "Say What." Oh my god,
it's a terrible plugin. It's like from like 2000. No, it's like from like 1990, 1988. I don't know what year, was a long time ago. And it's terrible. However, I still have some legacy client sites where we're trying to get to the point where we're able to do the turnover of a new site, and they were recently compromised, really compromised, as opposed to just mildly compromised, as it has been for the past 10 years. So
mildly compromised.
There's a difference. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go just straight up PayPal and put a PayPal link on there and directly go to there. It takes. They're going to take a small percentage of every transaction. That's just how everything online rolls.
Everything's going to take
I actually think it's important to talk about that piece of it, right? So we talked about gravity forms, but you still need a payment processor, right? You need to have Stripe or PayPal or Authorize.net. But one of those. Yeah, but one of those systems, you have to have that to take the transactions, and then you need a bank account, right? And I mentioned that because a lot of people think, oh, you set up Stripe, right?
Yeah.
No, you need a bank account to actually get the money into, right? And I know that sounds crazy, right? But I have clients that just come to me and they say, yeah, we've got Stripe set up.
even if you have
account on the other end.
Even if you have Bitcoin, it still has to be pulled out into whatever monetary bank that you live in, and you have to go get whatever it is. Yes, it's true.
Yes.
I wanna follow up on that point that you're making though, Steve, because I think the title of this is like quick things, right? So even setting up the Gravity form to do the PayPal thing, that's actually not in terms of that quick. It may be simple where you're just selling one thing. So simple and quick, not the same thing in this.
So a very quick way to do this is to set up a PayPal site, right, or a Stripe site, and just link over there, right? So you can link over to the site. They give you a place to process transactions without embedding it into your WordPress site. That's the quickest way.
That's the quickest.
Square will let you do that.
Yes.
And very easily, a bar in town here that's selling drink kits is just selling their stuff through Square, and it's super simple. They just link like, okay, we're selling this drink kit, link in bio, and then you go over and you hit the Stripe page, and there you go.
Square page, but yes.
Yeah, you could also, like, Square has their embed codes that you can use as well to kind of embed stuff as well if you wanted to do something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's important because you businesses that haven't been online that are watching this episode need exactly that, right? You don't have to have a lot of technology to do this stuff. A lot of those things are just provided by your existing payment processor.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's actually something that I think is really underrated, because everyone is always like, oh, you want to sell something, here's Woo. And Woo is like, Woo is an involved process. Like,
even just the setup wizard, I dread the setup wizard right now.
Yeah, you should never load Woo.
It's like taking the SITs.
Yeah.
There's some other ones like easy digital download and whatnot, but there's still a little bit involved in terms of setting.
I mean, there's going to be a barrier to entry. Like, you're always going to have to require your ID when you set up for something, and you're going to have to set up your bank account. There's time involved with that, and I think that that's going to be normal for anything that you use.
So let's talk about WooCommerce, because you make a good point here, say that it is difficult to set up, but there are options. There are SaaS options that are out there where you don't need to use WooCommerce. You can set up a Shopify site for your store.
You said that with a lot of SaaS.
I did. You can set up BigCommerce. There's other sites you can set up and just link to those sites for the store portion of your site. You don't have to have everything self-contained if you want to do this quickly.
You could do like Jason Tucker's doing, is that Patreon, and you could do a monthly thing. Give me $5 a month, and then you can call me, between the hours of 3 and 5. Like,
hours for $5 a month. You got
Russ just cut his hourly rate in half.
Yeah. Hey, use coupon code.
You have to at least get minimum wage, Russ. Come on, dude. At least minimum wage.
All I'm really doing is I'm offering my WordPress support knowledge and my WordPress knowledge, and I'm taking those little dollars and I'm just dropping them over to cryptocurrency. So that's really what's happening. It's not like I'm funding it to like run a business. I'm just investing all of that in crypto.
That really doesn't mean that you should be charging the minimum amount that you are. But that's
free enterprise.
So
call Russ, people. Don't call me, because I ain't charging.
So in the spirit of being all over the map on this episode, I want to talk about something completely different, right? So with the payment processors, you need to be careful about what you're selling. Right. And so not all things that you're selling are created equally. And so the payment processors have specific guidelines as to what you can sell and what you can't sell. And each payment processor is a little bit different. And so depending on what you're selling, you may want to be careful, and you really need to read up on that, because your payment processor may just block you. Right. So you may go through all the steps that we're telling you, and your payment processor may shut you down on day one because you're selling something that's questionable.
I mean,
so you need to be careful with things like pharmaceuticals, CBD, right? Certain types of services, right?
Adult entertainment objects, yeah, for sure. Like that was a big thing for a while.
When in Vegas,
I have clients here in Vegas that have that happen. Like, they were not able to use PayPal because that was the thing. We had to switch over to Stripe.
Well, and I actually honestly wasn't going there, Russ. But since you brought it up, it's actually up to the payment processor to determine if what you're doing is questionable, right? So You may have something that is adult adjacent.
They're gonna
right?
deem it essential or non-essential.
And they it's all subjective. They may just shut you down because they determined you violated their terms of service. So I want everybody to be careful about that.
You know, and that's not a bad thing, because there was a service that we saw online a while ago that was trying to fund like negative rallies and stuff, and so PayPal stepped in and shut those down. So I'm all for those kind of rules. You know, that's something that they want to they want to help.
And so the medical space is under scrutiny because I've gotten a lot of requests for people wanting to sell PPE equipment, testing kits, things like that. The payment processor will just shut you down, right? If you start selling that kind of stuff online.
Well, yeah, I mean, even selling on Amazon and stuff, you're getting shut down at that point right now.
Absolutely.
They're like,
the point I'm making is just going and setting up a WordPress site to try to do this yourself, right? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
There are people in this space that have pushed those boundaries. I remember when you couldn't do anything with CBD and Woo, and like a few weeks later, now you're able to do it. Like, you know, there is chance for change, but you know, I would read those little fine lines.
Just be careful.
I want to go full circle back to where we were before.
360 baby. 360 baby.
And talk about the payment processors again, because I've had the typical ones I use, but recently I set up helped a client set up a thing for buying tickets because they're doing live web events because they can't go on tour. And we used a new plugin that I actually really liked. And it was so lightweight and easy. And they were like, oh, well, let's switch over to WooCommerce. And I was like, actually, let's switch the rest of your stuff over to this plugin, because we had this plan to introduce WooCommerce. And now I'm like, no, I actually really like this plugin. It's not to be confused with the Stripe plugin, which I think Cosper was going to talk about, but it's actually called the Stripe Payments plugin, which is, you know, this much different, but it's an in-between. It's in between Stripe. It's like a third party. It's not from Stripe, but it's really great.
Would that be by Sandhills Development, say?
It's WP Tips and Tricks. I don't even know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right. Okay. I was like, where'd you come from? I don't even know who this is. But it's super lightweight. So you can actually create a products page and whatnot, but it's basically a click and buy. So you click the link and you can attach this link to any button or anything. So you can build out your own product page. You don't have to use their embedded product page, even though they have one. And then you can stick that link on any button, and all it does is bring up the credit card thing. It's like, boom, buy right here. There's no like, nice. Oh, I'm putting stuff in a cart, and it's like an instant buy. And especially for tickets, that's super great. And we have it all hooked up, automated to like, you know, MailChimp or whatever. So it sends out all the things. It's really quite beautiful. But I just really like the instantaneous of it. You click the button, it's like, here's your information, you click send, and you're done. And there's no like second guessing. There's no, you know, give us all this information. You can ask for addresses and stuff, but you can totally strip down what you want. Like That's you great. Don't have to have anything except for a credit card and make one payment. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's so lightweight. I'm really into it.
Steve, I have a question for you. And my question is, you know, advising a company, like if they were coming to you today to say, hey, Steve, we have this thing we want to do, you know, would you recommend one way and then saying when you get to a volume, then we'll switch you to WooCommerce? Like, you know, what are your thoughts on that as saying, use this today, this gets you off the ground, you know, you're making money, so, you know, good is better than perfect. But at the same time, you know, my advice I want to tell people is, what's your long run? If this turns into a business, how are you going to migrate? You know, and you're my migrate guy.
In a normal environment, my advice to my clients is always plan for the long term, right? So let's build it right the first time, right? So that we don't have to keep rebuilding, right? Because it may cost you more now. It may cost you more now, but you're going to save money in the long run because we're not going to rebuild. We're not going to have to migrate.
It's not just money. It is so many reasons.
Yes, it's an investment.
Yeah,
beyond just money.
In a normal environment, the calls I'm getting today are, I need to get up and running in an hour,
Yeah,
right?
right now.
And so now, because it's chaos, everybody needs quick fixes. And so my advice has shifted a little bit, just temporarily, to tell people how to get something up and running, knowing that we may have to migrate later on down the road. And so a lot of the solutions that we're talking about on this call are solutions I'm recommending, or even SaaS. I'm recommending SaaS products like Shopify or BigCommerce or other solutions that we may ultimately migrate later.
Let's be real though, Shopify and BigCommerce are not quick setups either.
They're not. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying they're hosted. You click something and you're setting up stuff right away, rather than a full WooCommerce build. Right?
Yeah,
that's typically what I do.
Hosting and a domain on top of that, setting up email, all that other stuff, or go click this button and a little bit of money. Okay,
I'm not saying they're any easier from a. Sorry.
I'm just saying Square is the easiest one from that perspective, because they really do. They spin up the site. You can put in products and you can connect it to in live things later. Square is the easiest in terms of spin up with nothing else attached to it.
Totally, absolutely.
But for a lot of people who are out selling stuff at markets and things like that, who can't go out to these markets anymore, they already have their stuff in Square ready to sell. They just convert it into a product, that they can sell on their website.
And that's the other thing I was going to say is to mirror what Casper just said, right? A lot of these places have their POS system, Square, Toast, or whatever they're using at the place that
Square
has
Toast?
something. It's Square Toast, yes, as opposed to Round Toast. No, Toast is just another one. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of those POS systems that you see like at a coffee shop, and those already have a way to process payments. And so what I'm seeing is a lot of the shops that are getting creative are just linking over to the pages that are already available to them in their POS system.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the other thing I'm recommending is use the tools that you have.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't know that Square has a web space, now go click that button and whatever you got to do. But you can have a store today. Just click a button and it could happen.
Not
you
even
didn't know that.
I know you guys are giving super advice, but I wanted to make a total quip that's not relevant, and you guys were over here saying all these relevant things, but as soon as you said Square Toast, you know what my head said? It was border radius. It's in my head. I was the border radius on that is a 3-pixel border radius.
I was telling Jason Tucker earlier about my
that's where my head is.
I was telling Tucker about my computer setup earlier, and I was describing the padding around my old Dell monitors, and it was 40 pixels of padding. I was doing the same thing.
That's really funny.
Anyway,
you need to share that.
That's fine. Just to finish off that point, Russ brings up a really good point. I want to make sure that this doesn't get lost in the conversation, and it is about migration. So if you do, anytime you put in a quick fix, right, you need to know that once you're ready to grow or build the real solution, there may be a migration effort. And right now, that's okay. People just need to keep selling. And so that's okay. Just know that you may have to do a larger migration down the road.
There are contracts too. There are things that say you might have to use this, or if you're not sure, do the monthly instead of the annually. That way you can cut ties when you need to, or think about the longevity of that kind of stuff.
So one of the migration systems I want to mention, I just want to finish this off. One of the migration systems I want to mention. So if you are migrating from one of those systems over to WooCommerce or over to another system, look at a site called Cart to Cart, the number 2. It handles those migrations pretty flawlessly.
That was the name of my single in the 90s. It was Cart to Cart.
Anyway, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox.
No, you're not. I was going to make an actual real comment, not a quip about CSS and my brain. But now I've forgotten it. No, my real comment was that when you do these quick setups, I actually think even in a normal situation, these can be really helpful, because you could be trying to set up the whole big thing. And a lot of clients, even though Steve and I and probably Russ try to get our clients to think about the big picture and the long term, they can't. They are stuck. They don't really know what it is they're going to need or what they need, and they can't envision it. Sometimes when you're talking about a website with someone, until you spin something up, they are I can't see it. And then you spin something up and they're oh, now I know what I need and I want. So this is actually a great opportunity to get some of your stuff up there. And then you can be like, oh, wow, this sold really well and this didn't sell at all. And so I know I need to be able to, and people ask for customizations on this, and I wanted to be able to do X, Y, Z. And so by implementing this kind of quick fix solution, you can actually make plans for the long term and the longer migration based off of what you are lacking in that initial quick setup.
Treat it as your proof of concept.
Exactly. It's like
proof of work.
And you can also, stay somewhat in business for the next, I don't know, month.
Well, hashtag stay employable.
Well, Steve, like you were talking about earlier regarding the POS systems, a lot of these point of sale systems have APIs that have integrations that are already being built out on all of these different types of e-commerce solutions. So if you're looking at like my point of sale system is taking care of my inventory, then you should be able to look and see, can this inventory stuff be tied into something else? And so that quick solution may just be, I need to turn on this one thing, like we're talking about with Square. If you already have your inventory in there, just have at it. You're good to go. Turn on Square Marketplace, send everybody to that link, and then you're solid. Then down the road, you can go and say, this thing has an API. There's a WordPress plugin for it. I want to now have it live on my WordPress site. And you don't have to do anything extra other than just turn on.
Dude, I'm just trying to sell tokens over here, and you're talking about APIs.
I mean, there is to still be considered the taxes and shipping, which is something you need to be aware of, because if you're just doing right out of the
whole separate ride.
And you might be like, I don't care how much it costs me to ship, but in the long term, that can really eat into things. In the short term, maybe it's better to sell the thing than it is to worry about how much shipping is going to cost you, or adding that on, or worrying about if it costs more to send to Kansas or, Maine or whatever. But that is something that really still needs to be considered. And some of these lightweight solutions don't incorporate that, and may or may not incorporate taxes, which you are going to have to pay. They're not taking away sales tax at this time. Although that would be a really good idea for stimulus. It just disappointing.
Something that I dropped into chat kind of early in the episode, and we're just kind of getting to now because everyone was going off on their tangents. There is something. There is a plugin that's in the repository called Stripe Payments WordPress plugin. WP Simple Pay. It's a mouthful. The little slug for the plugin is just Stripe. It looks like it might be the official Stripe plugin, but it's not. It's done by Sandhills Development, who does EDD, affiliate WP, and is just a very simple and easy way to take an item, put it up on your site, and sell it. There's no cart, there's no anything else. It's just one click. And they have an upgradable pro version because, of course, they're great at the upsell over at Sandhills. A very nice and affordable pro version as well that lets you do things like add coupon codes, add stuff like that. So basically, if you want to sell stuff, you're not worried about coupon codes or anything else. I mean, honestly, from this conversation, I've taken away that maybe doing it with Square and embedding stuff using the iframe is probably the easiest way. But if you're not comfortable with that and you don't already have things in Square, this is a good solution too.
That one that Say shared, like I'm looking at that one right now, and it looks so like these are both good solutions right now, man.
It's real nice.
Yeah, I've seen that in the past. It's a pretty sweet solution because it just uses a modal to pop up. You type in the stuff, you hit submit, and you're good to go.
And that's really I don't know the company behind or the developers behind the one that Say does, but I know Sandhills Development. I know that they're responsible for EDD, for affiliate WP. They do solid, good work. So I know that if I trust my sales to this plugin, it'll probably go well for me
long term.
Yeah.
That's short term.
I can't believe they got /Stripe. Like, what a URL, man. They got that awesome. Early on in the day.
Tell me about
Go Pippin. Go Pippin.
All right, folks. Well, that's it for today. I want to say thank you very much for all of you for coming and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Go over to our website over at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe to learn how to subscribe to this content. If you want to become a patron on Patreon, go over to WP Watercooler's Patreon page at patreon.com/WPwatercooler.
I'm not doing any of the things he said I would do.
No. I got to run though. I've got some square toast waiting for me.
Some